Hello students, welcome to EasyElimu Learning Simplified. I am your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. So remember, this is still an analysis of an artist of the floating world by Kazuo Ishiguro. And we have been looking at quite a good number of thematic concerns in our previous videos. So in this session, dear students, allow me to take you through the theme of betrayal and again the theme of effects of war. So, talking about betrayal and effects of war, I'll start looking at the first concern, that is betrayal. So, talking about betrayal, dear students, betrayal is an act of deliberate disloyalty. That is when you become disloyal to someone who trusted you a lot. So, an example is when you have a friend and maybe you tell some of your secrets to your friend, then later on learn that is through another friend that some of your secrets had been revealed by that friend you trusted so much. So it is another way, or we can put it, is messing up someone's trust. So in most cases, betrayal leads to distrust. So talking about this concern, in the novel, An Artist of the Floating World, Ono speaks about Kuroda's paintings and calls the police on him. So he says that he hoped they would just advise him, but instead they destroy all his paintings and consider that he is on a conspiracy. So remember, after Ono had separated with his master, that is Morisan, who was also his old teacher, he becomes a political propagandist. So during this time, he is also a police informant. So he tells, he calls, the police on Kuroda, thinking that maybe the police were just going to advise Kuroda. But what happens in the end is that he is arrested, the paintings are destroyed, and he is also tortured. That is after all his paintings are considered to be on a conspiracy. So another thing is that the exit from the pavilion by Ono seems to Morisan as some sort of betrayal. So remember, Morisan had also trusted Ono so much, and he always wanted all his pupils to, master his style of art. So the tortoise calls Ono a traitor since he was going against Master Morisan's teachings. So another thing is that the conversation between Ono and Morisan depicts utmost betrayal from Ono. That is after after Morisan had confiscated some of the paintings that were not in line with his teachings from Ono. So Ono feels his father, that this is on a different scenario. Ono feels his father betrays him by burning his first painting, however impressive they are, when he is young, in an attempt to stop him from from pursuing art. So Ono's father, dear students, always wanted Ono to become a businessman just like him, and probably take care of the family's business when he comes of age. But from the novel, we understand, or we learn, that Ono wanted to pursue art, which finally he does. So another thing is that Kuroda and other young people seem to feel that Ono and his likes betrayed them by causing the war. Then after it, they appear as if nothing happened. So we are also going to look at this when we start talking about the effects of war. So remember, the war was, the war was spread by the likes of Ono. So some of the youths, especially Kuroda, GK Miyake, that is Miyake, also Suichi, think and seem that Ono and his likes, betrayed them by causing the war. Then later on, after their friends had died, they are free and they appear like nothing happened. So another thing is that Mr. Enchi, so Enchi is the young man Ono meets when he sets out to look for Mr. Kuroda. So Enchi reports how Kuroda used to be beaten and called a traitor during the war, and all this is because of Ono. That is Ono having reported him to the police. So Mr. Enchi believes that real traitors are everywhere and are known, Ono being one of them. Another thing is that any artist who goes against Morrison's standard was always considered a traitor, including one of his best student called Sasaki, who later on betrays Morrison and also calls it a quit. That is, he leaves the villa. So there is also this important concern that we must also talk about, that is the effects of war. So remember that whenever there is a war, it normally, the results are normally disastrous. That is, some of the effects of war that are common is displacement of people, destruction of property, loss of lives, etc. So talking about effects of war as brought out in the novel An Artist of the Floating World, Ono says that his house had received its share in the war damage. So the bulk of the bomb damage had been to his section of the house. And as they surveyed it from the garden, there was damage on the veranda, which had billowed and cracked. So still on the same, Ono says that Mrs. Kawakami had lost in war and she had greatly aged because she seemed broken and sagged. So his business too, that is her business too, sorry, I don't know why I oftenly make mistakes in pronoun, but do not mind. So her business too has become increasingly difficult for her, that she is considering of closing it up like other old competitors. And again, that is indicated in the novel. So Ono also reports on how Mrs. Kawakami's bar is a desert or looks like a desert of demolished rubble. And since there are broken bricks, Mrs. Kawakami has put up mosquito wiring on her windows. That is to prevent mosquito from entering the bar, something that the customers consider unattractive. So another thing is that Ono says that the Mijihidari has all its windows blown out and part of the roof is fallen in, and the street is also full of rubbles. So these are some of the things that happen as a result of the World War II that led to very many people losing their lives. So people begin to kill themselves in apology of having participated indirectly in the war. So an example is Jiro Miyake's, that is a president who was a singer. He composed victory songs and songs that led Japan to the war. So the young people feel it is right as that is their responsibility. So another thing is that Suichi transforms from a polite, self-effacing man to a malicious, cruel being after being in the military during the war. So he is still haunted by some of the things, some of the things that he witnessed during the war. And what irritates him the more is the fact that his age mates are buried and the real culprits are free and walking like nothing really happened. So there is also, many young people, including Kenji, Ono's son, who lost their lives in the war or during the war. So another thing that is also important to take note of is that Ono sees how Kuroda has been affected by the war. So he has hollowed out and there are heavy lines on his chin. That is when he spots him. So Enchi also reveals too that Kuroda was neglected by warders who failed to report his injured shoulder and kept beating him all the time. So that also came as a result of the conflict that was there. So lastly, Morisan's villa was also destroyed during the war. And remember that Morisan hosted quite a number of young artists whom he also nurtured to be very good artists later in life, as we can also see, through the likes of Ono and Sasaki, who again betrays him in return. So, dear learners, that brings us to a close of this session, and I'd really like to thank you for staying tuned till the end. And remember to always keep it easy, Elimu. Once again, I'm your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. Until next time.